Hello and welcome back to part 3 of our Secret of Mana Player 2 Plays playthrough. My name is Paul James and we're going to pick things up exactly where we left them off. We're here with Nico, we've got our sprite. I have done a little bit of work in between recordings here to level grind, get their weapon levels up, and just level up our new sprite Glenn. But otherwise we're ready to continue the journey, so let's go. So when we last wrapped things up, we've worked through Guy's Naval, we defeated a boss at the end there. You can see that just based on that, I'm doing far more damage than I did before, including our newest addition, Glenn. One of the last things we did last time was use the orb on the sword, so that now charges to level 2, and I'll show you how much damage that packs when I take out this flower. Sizable upgrade. Essentially packing a bit more than double a stock standard hit when we have it charged to level 2, so things are going well in that space. Now, something I didn't really talk about in past episodes, simply because we didn't have a second playable character with us, is you can flick between them at any given moment. So you can just press the select button. All of a sudden now, Glenn is the leader of the party here, and also within the menus here, if you go across to the action grid option there, you can, in a very Final Fantasy 12 sort of way, so 15, 20 years before Final Fantasy 12 ever came along, 15 years, you can customize how you want your NPCs to handle themselves in combat. So at the moment, admittedly, I tend to assume control of me at all times, but in the event that I'm Glenn or someone else, at the moment, I basically try and keep my distance and I keep my guard up at all times. I tend to, and I don't know why I hadn't set this already, I tend to situate them somewhere in that top left portion, but I'm fairly aggressive in the way I play. And the same applies for Glenn. So I'll check. Yeah, good, already done it. I've got several new weapons off the back of the last time we played. So I've now got the Watt's Axe, the Heavy Spear, Chobin's Bow, and Boomerang to go on top of the Broadsword that I've got. And like I said, I've leveled all those up to their current maximum. So in the case of the Heavy Spear and the Sword, that is level 2. The rest, it's all level 1. We're going to continue heading north so we can go to the forest, the place that we've kind of looked at in the past but really couldn't access. Now these little flowers here you can't actually get past without the sword or the axe to chop through them. Now these guys are annoying just because they are very evasive and can shoot over the top of those hedges. So you could use your boomerang, you could use your bow, or if you're, as both characters are at the moment, equipping melee weapons, then you just slice your way through the hedges and then come and whack them in the face. There we go, Glenn's level 8, and then for me, oh, that's my weapon level. I currently stand at level 10. Short work of those two when you've got some pretty heavy weaponry. You can actually go to this segment of the game much earlier in the game before you've even unlocked the sprite character, whoever you so choose to call them, and meet this girl a lot earlier. Now, if you remember that name, that was the head of that little army near the water palace that was heading into the forest. We're apparently now going on a rescue mission. I'm just going to name her after my dog. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful sense. She's just loud and noisy, just as the dog is. So Glenn, you're in good company, my friend. But as you can see, she's now quite underleveled, and for the sake of recording, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time grinding her level there. We'll just make sure she's got a good weapon in hand to continue on. So we'll check that very briefly. She's got the spike knuckle. That is a new weapon that's been unlocked courtesy of her arrival. I'm going to give her something ranged just while the other two are very melee centric. She can contribute with that. I'll also set her action grid and make sure she's fairly aggressive, especially given that she's ranged. Though, even though she didn't, I don't think, got a single hit in there, she will still, like, her weapon level will still improve. As you can see with the Chobin's bow being, 0.2, but it might even be 0.02 actually. But she is still leveling up despite the fact that she didn't lay a single hit there. I'm going to have to change my weapon to an axe, I think. I'll let Pippa do all the damage there. There we go. Cash. I've been burned a few times while I was level grinding. I happened to open quite a few chests, and a large portion of them were bombs or poison arrows. And she's leveling up quite quickly. I'm going to change to my axe. Can't remember which is through this portal, whether that was progression or... I need the whip. I can't go through there yet. So it was around the bottom. Oh. At this early stage, a single hit from one of those guys, especially when I foolishly didn't equip her with any good armor, could be enough to polish her off. So I'll give her the hair ribbon. I'll give her... I don't have an extra power wrist, so I'll give her the elbow pad for the time being. And she's already equipped with the Kung Fu suit, so I stupidly bought an extra on there, but she can wear the chain vest, so I'll give her that. That should up her defense and make her a little bit harder to... Like, that was 32 points of damage. That was a fair hit. Versus 10 this time around. I wish she'd kill it already. Show you a charged level 1 move for the axe, provided there's an enemy to use it on. Ugh. Stop running away. Oh, now these guys are a bit like the little eyeballs here. They're a bit like the slime blobs from Guy's Naval, where they keep spawning new enemies. The only catch with these guys is they can also transform you. You saw that kind of beam that came from its eyes. Well, that could turn me into a little creature that's essentially useless in combat. I've now formed a bridge for myself. I go back through here. And I was wrong about that, actually. That button I pressed that created essentially a bridge for us, that was in that portion where I thought I needed to use the whip. Go on, use that bow and arrow. You're not being nearly aggressive enough. Action. Just attack all out. Come on. Go, 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 go. I know what I'll do. Let's speed these things up a bit. There we go. She's reached level 1 with the arrows, so we'll change weapon with her. We'll keep with this whole range thing, so we'll use the boomerang next. Which is not a weapon that I particularly favour at any real point in the game. But for the sake of kind of having a diverse range of weapons to use, we'll use it. There's our little mold-making friend. Now we could really farm this for a while if we wanted to, because he'll keep bringing out new ones and using Cure Water to heal them. So you could sit here and kind of spam it for a while, and your characters sometimes, when you've got them set to ultra aggressive, as Paul is down there in the corner, they will just continue to get distracted and try and attack, which can be a little bit frustrating. It's the pros and cons of customizing the characters the way that I did. More money. At least on camera I'm having a fairly good time of it when it comes to these chests. Oh yeah, the whip. Now this here, we can't quite see it. It's off camera, maybe. So those are one of those whip points. So you've got the little wooden attachment. You just throw the whip out, hook on the other side, whip the team over. On the other side of that is the other entrance that we tried to approach from the water palace end. Make sure you use the angles. You can exploit aspects of the game, and just ensure that when you level up, you're doing it safely. No room for candies. I did incorrectly say in one of the previous episodes that you could carry 9. I was getting my games mixed up. The maximum number of candy or any item that you can carry at any given time is 4. Just a little bit rusty, I guess, when it comes to Secret of Mana. And every now and then they will get stuck on the environment. Back to some of those werewolves from before. Let's play it a little bit safer here. Oh. In the meantime, that stupid eyeball is bringing out new goons. Get out of here. That worked out well. He used Cure Water on an enemy that I killed as he did it. Just exploring, but there's not really that much to see down this left side. You have to enter the castle from the right. Same as the middle, you can't access it via that pathway. And we're going to come across a couple of these werewolves, more mushrooms, all that sort of stuff. And I think you can see now why I thought it was handy to have at least one person who focuses on range moves. Because I can do all this damage from a distance. Although I got a little bit too close there. Oh, myself getting into a dodgy spot. Ah, there we go. Got moogled. And there's basically nothing I can do about it until it wears off. And when you're moogled, you are really weak, really vulnerable, and as you can see, she's dead. So we'll use a couple wishes. I've got a spare one. I'm not going to kill until she's back. That way she doesn't miss out on XP. We'll enter the castle. Oh, wasn't expecting to be right there. Oh, that's 2. Those guys have caused me a little grief over the journey, as you might be gathering. Just because they're a nuisance. So I've wasted already my 2 cups of wishes. Now, a little cheat here. You can see how there's 4 chairs in the room, and 3 of those have kind of lit up white. They're basically fixed in place. We don't have to worry about them. The one other is about to cause us a headache or two. Now, I didn't check to see if at any point she'd reached level 1 with the boomerang. Cool. Or maybe I had it the other way around. 3 of the enemies, sorry. And the 1 is an actual fitting of the room. Actually, use the sword. And you, because you've mastered everything so far, you use the spike. Come on. Oh. I can't get close. What is going on here? There we go. Oh, there's another one. Oh, we're in all sorts of trouble here. I'm gonna just try and wait this out. Keep my distance. Because I don't have any cups of wishes anymore. That's 1 down. Now I'll take this turd out. Whew. Oh. Let's take the sword, because maximum damage there. Picked the wrong door. And so of course, guess who's back? The trick essentially is just don't get moogled. As long as you don't do that, then you're fine when it comes to those guys. This is my chance. I think Nico's in here. It's my chance to get some R&R. I'm gonna need to press the button for the bridge, if I recall. Oh no, I just had to go to the gate to open. So there's Dialog's troops, I guess, but no Dialog. The ghost of Pippa is talking to us, plenty to say. And they just accepted the ghost talking to them, no worries. Yeah, I need cups of wishes, please. Very generous saving the game, but that's not quite what I was looking for. Now, there's nothing armor-wise that is of any use to Pippa here. We've really just got to deal with what we've got. And that's fine. It's unfortunate that previous locations, they had armour that was of more use to me. I don't know why looking in the armour there, I need to get a couple of wishes, and I need to use that to Pippa. She's alright now. And we'll march on. How many do I have? Another 2. Yeah, it should be alright for what's to come. Don't you dare. Let's swap those weapons back over. I feel like I need to level up. A few people need to level up just to get that cheap bit of healing. One down. Let's just tread very, very carefully. Now, of course, we're faced with 3 doors here. I don't recall which one is which, to be honest. So let's just try door number 1, 2, then 3. Convenient when everyone decides they want to tackle a different bat. Which means we've got to deal with these idiots again. That was real unfortunate. Timing could not have been any worse. Man, these deaths are killing me. Bedham Tish. Let's try door number 2. That was the correct pathway. And here's the witch. Now if I follow straight away, I'm going to find myself in a boss battle. So I'm going to use one of those cups of wishes. It's probably wasted on her a little bit, to be honest. But we'll heal up. And we'll see how we fare. I'm going to reassume control of me. I'm going to take the sword back, because I'm the best person to have that thing. And then Pippa can have the bow, because she's gotten to be proficient with that. Got the spear going. Glenn, you're going to go in slightly undercooked, but I'm not wasting a candy on 11 HP. We got so close to die like there, and now he's been beamed away from us. So the first introduction of this Thanatos, more to be revealed later on. And here we are with a tricky, fiddly little boss to deal with. Oh. And I say tricky and fiddly because he just drops and these guys will just get hit, and I'm going to have to use another candy already on Pepper. And we might play it safe and use one on Glenn now as well. Because Glenn has now been hit with a fairly potent fire attack, and keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, get up, get up, get up. And see, what can you really do up there while he's up there? Well, to be fair, you could probably have switched to a ranged weapon and done something there, but let's see if I can use that. Oh. Dodged a bullet there, I'd say. So what do we got left? We've got a few royal jams and a few chocolates. I would like to hope that we've done enough damage at this point that we can be comfortable. Though that doesn't help. And I'm being feasted on. Things aren't going all that well here, to be honest. Kind of out of nowhere. I've really got to monitor health from this point because I don't have any more cups of wishes, so I've got to make sure that I'm using them effectively. That I'm using my chocolates, and there we go. Ooh, made that look a lot tougher than what it is. And the simple thing, when he jumps up on those left and right platforms, and it's something that I took far too long to trigger with, change to your ranged weapons, be it the boomerang or the bow and arrow, and take him out from there. It makes a big difference. You're not necessarily doing a ton of damage, as was proven with Pippa when she was firing 14 damage there, but it stacks up. So we can start making our way out, but we'll see the witch here. Damn straight you're going to live peacefully. Caused me far too many headaches. There's our whip, so that allows us for some quick maneuvers, realistically. Another ranged weapon, obviously, and the ability to leap from platform to platform, provided there's something to grab a hold of. 50 HP, XP, CP coins, currency. We've survived the battle, we'll make our way out. That's not the way out. You can see what was behind door number 3, but it was just going to be another room full of enemies to beat. Thankfully that's no longer the case. We can stick our nose downstairs, but we'll see that it's basically cleared out now, aside from Nico, who will give us the opportunity to save. And we'll make our way out of the castle, which is where we'll wrap things up for today. So that was the Witch's Castle. We've now got all 3 playable characters in the game. That is it. There are no more to unlock. One of the great things about Secret of Mana is if you happen to have a second controller and a second person obviously to play with that controller, the 2 of you can assume 2 of the 3 roles whilst you're playing, creating that co-op experience, bit of teamwork, bit more fun. And yeah, we're out. But we're gonna... a bit of dialogue first. So yes, Dialog's alive, but he's been beamed away. Maybe we'll finish things at the end of the Water Palace here, because there's a little bit more to do. So we're being beckoned by Luca at the Water Palace. We'll head there. We won't have to worry about any enemies until we're back inside the forest itself. But without that stupid eyeball, these guys are far easier to deal with. For Pippa, she can use... I need her to take on a melee weapon for now, so we'll give her the axe. And I'll take on the whip, only because I've got to use it at the moment, and I may as well... But see, look at the range of it. The whip would have been fantastic against those eyes, because its reach is greater than the reach of that beam that they were using to turn me into a Moogle. So we're obviously now quite close to the Water Palace if you followed previous episodes to this point. Head north. Chat to Luca, thankfully she restored all my health. Yes, I'll save, because there's a little bit to go down from here. And we'll actually see out that segment instead. So this is going to be our first opportunity to unlock an elemental character, Undine, to start things off. And that's just off to the right of the Water Palace when we get outside. things are a little bit different. Now, if you'd have tried to go down this path earlier on, it would have been inaccessible. Now we'll enter this cave. We are going to have to deal with the boss very soon. So I'm probably being a bit of a fool here, having not gotten any couple wishes or anything. So maybe I'll quickly duck off and do that and then return. Because I'm just begging for trouble if I mean, we can already see Pippa's about to die again. So we'll quickly go to Kippo Village because that was the closest little township. We can buy a few couple wishes, some candies and the like, and then return. Oh no, that's right. We're just Nico's little shop, not Kippo Village. Kippo Village is further south. What you got? We'll stay first just so that we can... It's probably it's the cheapest way that we can get everyone healed up versus buying a few candies and using them. So we'll buy a few anyway just to restock. The game's being quite generous at the moment with opportunities to save the game. And now we'll shop. So still nothing armor-wise that's of any use. We'd have to go actually to Kippo Village. We'll get 4, because it never hurts to be completely stocked up. Can't afford any fairy walnuts. I've got to get some more chocolate. I'm going to use 2. Yeah. And then we'll get 4 candies and we'll be right to go again. I have a fairly conservative approach when it comes to most RPGs. I feel like you can never be too stocked up. You can never be too sure. You can never be too leveled up. I don't particularly like seeing game over or having to restart at any point. Especially when I'm trying to demo a game for you. I'd rather not make mistakes. And I've made a few, thankfully have not resulted in a game over as of yet. But I'm sure that moment will come. And you'll just never see it because I'll just never air it. Good, I think Glenn was the one that took some damage there, so levelling up was great, good timing. Oh yeah. We'll beat this dude up for a bit, and then things will get interesting. So I wish they'd... This is one of those scenarios where I don't want them to be so aggressive, because this is not the main event. Let's just rein that in a little bit, can we? Attack, keep away. attack keep away. Please. Oh, I'm not hitting the target at all at the minute. In fact, what is going on there? There we are. Oh. Not prepared to waste a couple wishes so soon. So you'd think at this point that, oh, this is just some high HP enemy that's just being a nuisance more than anything else, but there we go. This is where things get interesting. And it's important to keep your distance. I wonder. And that's a whole other thing to keep on top of as well, is the fact that he will use magic to heal himself. So you kind of can't afford to be too defensive, because he might heal himself. As he did just there again, but I think I did more damage than he, in that time, since the last healing, that he recovered. So we should, yeah, we're making decent progress here, and he seems to be a little confused to who he's going to attack. Though I wish he'd stop healing himself, it's an unnecessary hassle. Die already. This one's worked out alright. I've never seen this before in Secret of Mana, but he's just completely stopped. And he's died. I've had a lot of hassles with that particular guy over the journey just because he eats you up and spits you back out, and you know, you're taking damage, you're down a player. But here we go. Undine. And me, wop wow. And there's another weapon for us. So no new specific magic for Paul. The other two got an offensive and defensive spell set respectively. But Pippa can imbue my weapons with different elements, and that can be the benefit for me. So if we take a quick look at those magics that they've unlocked. So in the case of Glenn, and there's our pole dart, by the way, our newest addition. In terms of those magics, you've got Undine, you select her, you can see the MP, available MP in the top right corner there. And then from there, Freeze, Energy Absorb, which as you can see is indicated sucks HP, and then Acid Storm. And these can all be powered up just as the weapons do. And in the case of Pippa, we've got Undine's magic. There's the Ice Saber, which you can imbue on my weapon. Cure Water, which you've been seeing a few of the different enemies use. And then Remedy, which, if you've played any RPG, you know what a Remedy does. You can view via the menu, if I recall correctly, the magic skills. And in the exact same fashion, you can see that Undine, 0 from 0 at the moment, we need to power it up, but in time we'll get there. And the same applies for Pippa. And that works in the exact same fashion that the weapon leveling system does. So we'll disappear from here, we'll head back to the Water Palace, and we'll wrap everything up. And actually, because I think Glenn could benefit from using a new weapon. He's been using that spear for a while. We can take on the Spike Knuckles. Alright, so that's the whip for me. Given that the Spike Knuckle's in use, I'll switch to the pole dart. It's basically a javelin though, so you can see me throwing it just like you would a javelin. Another really handy ranged weapon. Great in a pinch. Oh, damn it. Here we go, people with 2 health there. And Glenn not doing that much better. Perks of having a second player with you, in that, you know, it's only one person you really have to worry about. And that responsibility is shared between the 2 different players, so it certainly makes things a little bit easier. So we've got Undine's magic. Get restored. Yes, we'll save. So, as we wrap things up from here, our instruction is that we basically need to be going back to Gaia's Navel, where we can use that ice magic to enter new parts of Gaia's Navel and deal with a temple that doesn't look too dissimilar to the Water Temple. To the Water Palace, I should say. That's the next thing on our to-do list, and that's what we'll be doing in the next episode. So that is where we'll wrap things up. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. That'll allow you to catch up with weekly episodes of Patched, the Video Games Club, The Insider, and a whole bunch of Player 2 plays, as well as trailers and a whole bunch more. If you enjoy written content, please consider visiting the website player2.net.au, where you can catch up with reviews, previews, opinion pieces, features, news, the Player 2 draft, and a whole bunch more. All that stuff contributed by some of the best talent in Australia, so please don't hesitate to come to the website and check it out. We'd love to have you. If you're looking for some rolling updates, links to articles, as well as just some commentary, make sure to hit me up, Paul James P2 on Twitter, the website Player2AU on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.